We are live right after AEW Revolution, and quite a pay-per-view it was. That's right, it's a pay-per-view. Was it worth your $49.99? That's right, nearly $50. Is it delivering for you? This was a wild show. So much blood, so many tables being smashed. We have a lot to discuss. Your comments on screen if you're with us live, if you're listening in the podcast, or watching on demand. Thank you so much. Get all the news at sportskeeda.com. Let's get right into it. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out! Watch out, watch out, watch out! It is 11 in the Central. It is midnight in the East. This was a long show, over 4 hours of wrestling. Just clicking the dial there.
5 hours if we include the buy-in.
5 hours if you include the buy-in. A lot of people with a lot of different takes on the show. A lot of big headlines coming out of the show. More than a few NXT names are featured on the show, former NXT names. We'll get into all that big news. I'm Kev Kellam, Jeremy Bennett in Nebraska, if you ask you. All right, down in Florida, the state that is shaped like a certain part of the male anatomy. That is one Jose G. A lot to talk about here. This show was in that state that's shaped like a part of the male anatomy, Orlando, Florida.
Yep.
Loud, sold-out crowd, over 8,000 in attendance.
Good crowd.
Yeah, they didn't light up the crowd. I thought that was odd that they didn't put lights in the crowd. It was like
they lit themselves up with the fireflies.
Yeah, I guess that was I've seen that pay-per-view gimmick before here. Let's jump into the big headlines coming to the show before we get into the individual matches here. Bradford is already texting and saying Regal got a great pop. Yes, what? William Regal, former head talent scout for WWE, and of course on-screen GM for WWE NXT, released a few months ago. Now, seemingly a part of All Elite Wrestling. He came out at the end of a very bloody and violent match between Jon Moxley and Bryan Danielson and demanded that they shake hands.
A lot of history.
And paintbrush both of them. What do you think of that?
A lot of history, especially if you remember the days of FCW before NXT. Regal was a commentator there, and him and Moxley would get into it before the Shield was formed. It was some pretty cool stuff there in the real early days of Moxley's WWE career.
Yeah.
And of course, you know the history. There's a long and storied history with Regal and Bryan Danielson. So if Regal's the manager of this faction that I'm already excited for, Jesus, sign me the fuck up, man, because wow.
Yes.
I did not expect that. I did not expect Regal to come into that at all.
I think you're onto something. If Regal is the manager of Moxley and Bryan Danielson, I always get them mixed up. This is a game changer, dude, because you're essentially AEW's picked up the big faces of NXT black and gold, the black and gold era, right? So They got Keith Lee, Adam Cole, they got all these tremendous names, Malachi Black, so these guys are all there, and now you add William Regal to the mix. This is a potential game changer, guys. I've never seen anything like this. This was actually a very good show. A little bit long to my taste, but it was a very good show.
I mean, it's
Too long for you?
Yeah,
it was.
I've gotten used to this 2.5 hour, 3 hour, premium live event show. I got spoiled. 4 hours is a little too long. I'm like falling asleep between matches here.
I don't think that's the only person saying that. That was something I did see online. That was the major sentiment I heard, is like this show should have ended an hour before it did.
Yes.
And there were a lot of that isn't to say it was a bad show. We're not saying it's a bad show.
No.
If you're with us live, go ahead and give us the 1 to 10. We have Ricky, who is with us all the time. He's very into AEW. He loved this show. 10 out of 10. He loved it. Let us know what you think here. Let's jump into the card here. We did have the buy-in. I thought the buy-in was pretty strong here. Some fun stuff on the buy-in. The House of Black was very victorious over Pentagon and Pac and his crew. Layla Hirsch, victorious as well with a turnbuckle. She removed a turnbuckle match from underneath the ring and won. Biggest win of her career as well. I enjoyed this. Some of these, I also thought the Layla Hirsch match over Chris Statlander, very violent, very wild, personal issue between them. I thought that was better than any of the women's matches on the main card.
I saw a lot of people say that was the best women's match of the night.
It really was.
They had three tonight.
To be honest with you, I think Britt and Thunder are saving themselves for St. Patrick's Day Slam, because that's when Thunder's probably going to take the title in her hometown.
By the way, we got to talk about the new women's title design.
Ooh, pretty.
That's a very nice title belt, by the way.
Pretty.
But yeah, I gotta agree with you guys. I think the opening buy-in matches really kind of set the tone for the entire pay-per-view. But when it comes to the women's matches that we saw between Baker, Jade Cargill, and this Layla Hirsch and Chris Statlander, this
Mhm.
matchup was pretty solid, man. It was really good. It got me involved, and it made me want to watch the pay-per-view if I was watching this for the first time.
Yeah, I thought Thunder and Baker was good, but I think they're saving a little bit for in 2 weeks, or well, less than 2 weeks now. Geez, that's going to be on Friday, isn't it? St. Patrick's Day Slam. The
Close to it, I think the 18th. So it's
yeah.
the day after.
On Revolution. Yeah.
So let's jump
Or
into
Rampage.
let's jump into the main card. They open with Chris Jericho versus Eddie Kingston. Personal issue between these two. Eddie is good friends with Santana Ortiz. That kind of breaks up to some degree the inner circle, the faction that Chris Jericho is running, and you get Jericho versus Eddie. Jericho kind of belittling Eddie, saying he was never on this level, he doesn't belong in all wrestling. And they have a very, very technical match where Jericho's pulling out some deep cuts, some stuff we haven't seen him do in a long, long time. The lion salt. We got to see him do a Frankensteiner off the top. Jericho's looking slimmer than he has in some time. I thought this is a very, very good match. He's a 50-plus-year-old man. He's not going to be as fast as he once was. Anyone who says, oh, he looks slow. Anyone who's 50 is slow. All right? You're not as fast when you're I'm 38. You're not as fast when you're 23. It's fine.
Or when you're 62 diving off a balcony.
Oh, we'll get to that. Yeah. People defying age and bleeding in the process. I love this match. The ending, very compelling. There was near falls in this that I think Jericho nearly had him a couple times.
Yeah.
Go breakers.
Yeah.
But Eddie Kingston gets a submission win off Chris Jericho. Doesn't just pin him.
That thing looked brutal.
But taps him out. And Jericho said he would shake his hand if he beat him. He didn't shake his hand, walked out of the ring. So we get more out of this match. I'm okay with that. And this is a definitive win for Eddie Kingston.
Lion son of a bitch.
Yeah. I think
that's classic Chris Jericho, though. Is like he gets a personal issue with someone, he loses a match, and then it builds to another match. He did this with Shawn Michaels like 20 years ago.
You're just telling a story, right? You're just telling a story. Chris Jericho does that masterfully. And I think he did that very, very well tonight with Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston proved to me tonight that he can hang with the top guys, right? That he can go. He had the crowd support. The story was there in the ring. And I think that these are just the beginnings of what's going to be a longer feud. We're probably going to see this extend all the way out to Double or Nothing. Don't be surprised.
Yeah, it was really hard hitting. Great way to just kick off a match. Just put two guys beating the hell out of each other, and it was. I like that stretch plum submission there that Eddie put on. That was unique. You don't see it too often, and I just think the match was put together very well.
What other matches you guys want to jump into here on the card here as other people were signing off in the comments?
Well, we can just go in order if you want. I don't care.
Sure.
I mean, let's just talk about the second matchup there, the World Tag Team title match, the triple threat. That matchup was pretty damn good, man. The Young Bucks, Red Dragon, Jurassic Express. It's funny because when Rico and I were doing predictions on our own show earlier last week, we were like, well, Red Dragon and the Elite kind of cancel each other out, and Jurassic Express should win, which is what happened. But this was a really fun match. There was moments there that made you think it was like, oh, snap, like Red Dragon's probably going to get this, or even the Elite. Like there was just a lot of back and forth, a lot of near falls. But this is a really fun match to watch. It was definitely entertaining to be a second match on the card.
Yeah, it was really well done. A lot of action as you could expect, but they told a great story with the Bucks and Red Dragon. They told a really good story, and man, just some of the moves that
Jeremy, that story didn't connect with me at all because there was a million things going on in this match. Like this was a great match. I'm not taking anything away from this, but who was the legal man? Could you keep there was so much stuff going on in this match. I was like, just make it a tornado tag. It's stupid to have tags in this match. The tag count, people out of the ring. Why are we even counting? What does it even matter? Like that at some point I was like, this is a great match. Why even have the rules? Why would anyone hold a tag rope when you need 14 guys to do a move? So that was annoying. It was like, I'm not this stupid. Like I just follow the rules. Like that's why rules exist. The referee doesn't need to be there if you guys aren't if the tags don't mean anything. Because it was just fun, right? And then they had to go back to the corner and tag. I was like, that's stupid. Stop. Why did you set yourself up to have that problem? And the storyline thing with the Red Dragons didn't make sense until the end. And at that point, it was just like, oh, this is just a way for Jurassic Express to win. Luchasaurus looked like awesome. People love this match online. I heard some people saying it was the best match of the show. It was not. There was a better match on the show. And this show was fun, but it did have those indulgent things that AEW does in these big multi-man matches, which is great. It's their calling card. It's something they're very, very good at doing.
It's just insane how the unique moves that Jungle Boy pulls off. And then just the
Doomsday, the tornado splash.
He does a lot of things you don't see from anybody else. And
to
then
break up a submission hold, I thought that was really, really cool. Great match. I mean, I know it seems like I'm taking the tweezers out here, but the whole time I was like, who is the legal man? I couldn't keep track of it.
And I hate 2 men in the ring at the same time in a triple threat tag. Just make it no rules, 3 guys, 1 from each team in there, or make a tornado, something like that.
If they made a tornado, it would have been fine.
And then
that just always makes sense if you're having a triple threat match. If it's a tag, it should be a tornado by default.
And then just the insane agility for what Luchasaurus does. It's amazing for a guy his size to move as quickly as he does and to do it so smoothly. Like, you don't see him botch much. And for a guy that big, it's something to commend him about. And so I was wondering, just because there hasn't really been a meaningful feud with these guys since they've been champions. And so I thought maybe they would take the titles off them and put them on Red Dragon. But I'm kind of happy just by the performance that both men gave from Jurassic Express. I'm happy that they kept the belts. Now I want to see like a story. I want to see some kind of story for those titles now next time.
The thing is, the story didn't sell me on it. This match was just over delivering on the story that was built.
The story was only between the Bucks and Red Dragon. There hasn't really been a feud that is directly involving Jurassic Express yet since they're tag champs. So that's something they need to work. That's something they need to work on.
Like, to me, it's like the why you champions. You like, if you're not going to be.
That's why I thought they were going to lose the belt. That's why I thought they were going to lose the belts tonight, because they hadn't really been in.
Yeah, there wasn't an angle for them. Yeah, you're right about that.
Wrestling good. Story underwhelming. Like that was my take. It was like, wrestling was fantastic. You guys did some really creative things out of maneuvers with different people, but it was just
what a maneuver.
But I was also like, slow it down. Give us your rating here for this show. We always, when we do a big pay-per-view, we ask your rating 1 to 10. Your 1 to 10 rating. Some people give it a 9 out of 10. I saw a 10 out of 10. We'll give ours at the end of the show here. Let's move along here. What else do you guys want to jump into? I'm trying to see where the card.
Next one up after that is going to be the face of the Revolution ladder match. Now, you wonder why the crowd got quiet at times. It's because it was banger after banger after banger.
You had two really big matches open the show,
and then you give us a ladder match.
I almost thought they should have put something between that wild tag team match and the ladder match, because it was 2 matches in a row with more than like 5 guys in the ring at one point, but this ladder match was fun. This was a really fun ladder match. It was Christian's 22nd career televised ladder match, which is crazy to hear.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was really well done. Orange Cassidy doing some pretty cool spots, jumping on the big guys' backs or jumping on the ladder to reach for the rings.
I thought that was creative, and then he got crotched on the ladder. I thought that was cool.
I loved Wardlow stepping back from the ladder and telling Keith Lee to come on, and knowing Keith Lee would step down instead of going for the ring, and then the two would brawl, but then that kind of got interrupted.
I love that spot in the match when I think it was Wardlow and Keith Lee had the ladder, and Orange Cassidy did a pull up through the ladder to get on top of the ladder to reach the brass ring. I thought that was creative as hell. I thought that was really fun. There was a lot of creative stuff in this matchup, and Wardlow looked like a total superstar out there tonight. Good for him getting the win. He looked dominant as hell. He looked strong as hell. Yeah. He held his own against Powerhouse Hobbs and Keith Lee. But Keith Lee got that big pop, man. Not only when he came in, but the crowd chanting, "Bask in his glory." It was loud. It was deafening. It was awesome.
Sounds good with his music
to
too.
Reception.
It sounds good when they kind of time it with his music too, when they start singing it. So it was really good how the crowd did that there. And I predicted Wardlow to win this just because we all know the MJF feud's going to come to a head, and it did later on in the evening. And this was kind of the way for him to now get his own contract and not be under MJF, and which makes me wonder now. I kind of thought Scorpio Sky was going to beat Sammy Guevara. Unless they're just going to have Scorpio be a transitional champion, because I don't think Wardlow is going to lose that TNT title match when he cashes in that brass ring. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do going forward. I thought for sure Scorpio would win on Wednesday. Now I don't think so. But yet at the same time, both Sammy and Wardlow are very well loved. So then what do you do? So maybe Scorpio wins it and is a transitional champion into Double or Nothing or something. I don't know. Maybe Wardlow keeps that brass ring for a while maybe finally we get the MJF feud at Double or Nothing. Maybe I don't know how that's going to go, and that's kind of the beauty of it. You don't know what direction they're going to go in.
Kevin Glass saying, "Stop kissing AEW's ass. Their head is big enough. Their collective head is big enough." So I don't mind bringing up comments like that. It's okay.
Tell the several 100,000 spent $50.
Yeah, exactly. John Castro saying 9 out of 10. Not bad for my first AEW pay-per-view. So someone trying it for the first time, enjoying the show.
Got a good introduction.
Nishad is with us all the time. Thank you so much, Nishad. You've been watching for years. I appreciate it. 7.5. Phil is giving it a 9. Continue if you're watching with us. We're going to give you our ratings at the end of the show here. I liked the ladder match. I thought it was good, but I don't think it did the best service for all the guys involved. It did what it was supposed to do.
Make a lot of big guys in it, so it was kind of hard to.
Yeah. But it's still what the match you made.
Yeah.
You made the match. Now how are you going to make this work? And they did some creative stuff with it. It was fun, but
Wardlow coming out of the...
I don't think I'm an ass when I say I've seen better ladder matches.
Wardlow come... Oh, yeah, you're definitely right. This is not going to be
Kevin, being an ass.
I'm being a total AEW
Quit kissing WWE's ass, Kevin.
I'm always doing that. I am so exhausted of that. I was on Twitter all night. I am so exhausted with the comparisons.
I'm
exhausted with it. I don't care that they're doing this. Why don't they do this? So if they don't do this, then this thing. Stop. Just stop. Have fun. Talk about the show you're watching.
I loved when Wardlow came through the curtain and just nailed Hobbs and Keith Lee through and then you got the trademark Keith Lee creeping up on the apron. You had to get that spot in.
That was fun. I like that he has like signatures that involve like a certain.
How about the scene when Keith Lee just creeped up right behind Christian Cage like he did to Adam Cole in NXT?
Yeah.
I thought that shot was awesome.
Yeah, those gifts are great.
It was fun. It was fun. I loved it, and I would not mind watching this matchup again. It was fun.
Next up, oh baby, we got it official finally. Looking fine in that suit and skinny tie. Shane Swerve Strickland is now all elite. And whose house is it?
Swerve's house.
I believe it is indeed his house.
Great reaction. Great reaction.
You want to confirm? Swerve, I think, will be a great hand. He fits in well with the AEW style, with the body types they have there. That's why this ladder match was interesting, because there was not a lot of cruiserweights in a ladder match. It tends to be a place where you put a lot of cruiserweight guys. I think he can fit well. I think he's a guy with his style that's very appealing to younger audiences, and he could be a really interesting pickup for him. I think, though, they need more people who can stand out with the promos. And Swerve was really starting to stand out with the things he was doing on the microphone, having rap songs, doing stuff that no one was doing in WWE. And him doing that now in All Elite Wrestling, I think, is a cool idea.
Yeah, and then they were trying to build up to the the chant, but yet the crowd already knew it was coming, and they know Swerve, so that was kind of cool that they were able to play along with that and really come off as a great reaction for Swerve. And so I'm happy. He's a hell of a wrestler. I would not be surprised if he holds gold sometime this year. We still have 9 months left this year, so I would not be surprised if he holds the TNT title at some point.
John Kasher with a follow-up comment there. I just want to get that on screen. See, I am not biased. Good. I've been a WWE fan for 30 years. I love wrestling. First time I paid $50 for a pay-per-view in years. It's true. That is something every time an AEW pay-per-view comes up here in the traditional sense. We'll talk about before the end of the show, like how long that's going to last. Are they going to move to HBO Max and it just goes to the subscription model? I'm hoping that way, right? I'd like to just pay the $15 and watch Peacemaker and AEW on the same thing. But when you ask people to pay $50, your show's going to have to deliver. We'll get to the end of this podcast that you're watching, you're listening to, and we'll determine whether or not it's worth your $50, and we'll give it a rating out of 10. I want to talk about this match here. This was a match that was intriguing to me, and that was Jade Cargill and Tay Conti. And I wasn't as looking forward to this match as other matches on the card, but they did something really wild in this match. Jade at one point laid a big old smooch on Tay.
Oh yeah,
and followed this up with just kicking her ass.
Trying to make Sammy jealous. That's what she's doing.
Totally kicked her ass. So here's the thing. I thought that was interesting. I thought some of the moves were cool. I think Jade is coming into her form.
Oh yeah,
but
that frog splash was nice.
Yeah, that was a nice frog splash. But I do think this is a situation where the title is making the person.
And I loved, the Mortal Kombat gear too.
Yeah,
Jade looking like Jade. Aesthetics aside, this is another case where Layla and Chris Statlander had a banger match. This could not follow that. If you just want to isolate women's matches as their own thing,
but nobody expected Jade to lose here either.
Yeah,
exactly. But
that's okay.
Some credit,
that's okay. Predictable is not bad.
Just like you mentioned, she is getting better.
Mm-hmm.
And Ty Conti gave her the best match she's had to date right now in AEW. That match, that's the longest match Jade's had in the company ever since holding that title. So
I get it. And Jade's a superstar. She looks like
and Ty did her job. Ty did what she needed to do, which was make Jade Cargill look good. Was it a banger of a match? No. Because that was Chris Statlander and Layla Hirsch early in the night.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, the match was still good and did what it needed to do for Jade.
Okay. I'm not the only one talking about the kissing here. Molly's talking about it here. We have Craig Backlund referencing the quote unquote hot lesbian action.
Oh, that was
HLA.
That's a flashback.
Yeah, that's a dated flashback.
Is that a Bischoff thing on when he was general manager?
That was a Bischoff thing when he was the manager of Raw. We're gonna have like ridiculous sexual content on our TV here. I'm getting feedback on my microphone. I'm sorry, I don't know why.
It's the hot lesbian action.
It is. It's that hot lesbian action that's getting me in trouble here. My mic can't handle it. I thought this was fine. Like it was just a fine match.
Yeah.
My thing is pay-per-view. I would have gone with the match that had the two bangers and a better story in it. And you have two wrestlers that were just out there hitting all their stuff. Layla Hirsch and Chris Statlander. I thought that match should have been on the pay-per-view.
If I remember right, the TBS championship wasn't defended on the last pay-per-view, so you had to have it on this one.
True.
If I might be mistaken, but I don't think it was defended.
Well, I don't think it existed in the last pay-per-view.
Yeah, I think it may not have existed.
It had to have because Jade's wrestled 20. Well, yeah, I think it. When did that come out? Yeah, that had to.
Here, we're getting into semantics, guys. Let's talk about this dog collar match.
I love this match. This match was
absolutely
awesome.
Fantastic.
MJF
versus
CM Punk. CM Punk came out to his old Ring of Honor theme song, and that the crowd in Orlando responded heavily to it, and he came out with the gear. This entire matchup was so good.
Yeah, you knew Punk wearing white shorts. That was going to be the end of it. And yes, the TBS title was around when Full Gear was on November.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, you knew when he was wearing white shorts. Those are going to be stained with blood. But my God. This match was...
So there's one thing I do have to point out about this match where Punk blatantly in front of the camera, facing the A camera, just stabs himself twice. Boom!
I didn't catch that.
Did you catch? Did you catch later?
Did you catch that?
No. Did you catch later where Danielson tossed Remsburg the blade and he threw it out of the ring?
But it was like blatant, dude. It was like blatant.
I didn't catch that at all.
MJF had just hit him with the chain, and as soon as he got hit, he went with his other hand, Punk, and then he got hit again, and then a Punk. So he got two puncture wounds right here. He just started drenching blood. It just would not stop. I'm like, oh my God. Like, you could not wait for like the camera change or beat or something like that. It was just so evident. It was so blatant and disrespectful.
Many, many years ago, when you had to rent the pay-per-views at Blockbuster on VHS tape, I would rent some of the pay-per-views over and over again. And it would drive my older brothers who didn't like wrestling crazy because they would have to sit out me watching a pay-per-view again. And I was watching Hulk Hogan versus The Undertaker, where he gets hit with it's WrestleMania 7, 100 Hogan versus Slaughter. And they have that awful shot that's like right underneath the ring rope, like right here, right underneath the ring rope. And Hogan blades himself, and you just see it, and he literally puts the blade right in front of the camera. And Earl Hebner comes over and sweeps it and puts it in his pocket and acts like he's checking. And I remember being a little kid. I'm talking like under 10, right? And I was so Hulkamaniac, and my older brother Bob had to hold my eyes open, and my other brother Kieran put it in slow-mo. So they're like, "You have to know it's fake. You gotta know it's fake." I was like, "No, I don't know. It was like they had to hold my eyes open. I was like, that's not a blade.
Yeah, that's
It's a piece of the chair. You got it.
That's a plastic gimmick. That's a plastic razor gimmick.
That is 100% true. They held my eyes open and made me see that Hulk Hogan. And someone do a still screenshot of this.
Oh
There we
no.
I love
it's like Bird Box. He's making him open her eyes in Bird Box. Remember that, Mart?
We're gonna go back and get that shot. I 100% loved this match. This match did something that all the other matches before it did. Jade and Tay got out there. All right, you got how much time? All right, let's get a bunch of stuff in there. Let's make sure we have Smart Mark on the outside taking a bump. We have the tag match. All right, let's make sure that 3 different teams can get all their stuff in. All right, that's what that match calls for. Get a bunch of stuff in one match, and it's wild, right? Ladder match naturally. A bunch of different people doing a bunch of crazy things, and then one big winner. This match, 2 guys, one gimmick, one story. Slow it down. And then did you notice that the reactions were bigger and longer? And as they got into the match, it got nastier and meaner. This was the match of the night. And even bleeding and doing everything they did, they got so much more out of their bodies than anyone else on this show. This stole the show. This was the match that sold the pay-per-view, I think, for a lot of people. This is the best match that CM Punk has had in All Elite Wrestling. And I've seen him have 2 really good ones live. This was fantastic. This was MJF's best performance in AEW, in my opinion. I loved it. And how about that swerve with Ward, though, Jeremy?
Absolutely.
I know you were a fan of it.
That was great. Oops.
Are you looking for the ring? I can't find it.
It added that extra element of storytelling in there besides the whole thing with MJF and CM Punk. Oh, you got Wardlow here at the same time because he's calling out for Wardlow to get some assistance, and Wardlow's looking for the ring. And it's in my other pocket. I'm just gonna leave this right here on the apron for you, and I'm gonna walk away.
Yeah, that was a brilliant finish too, and he just laid into MJF with that punch too with the diamond ring,
and he won with it.
Yep.
And he should have won with it.
Yeah, that was a great finish. Yeah.
And it was someone doing something cool that ends a match, not someone that does something cool and it doesn't end the match because we got to do more stuff. Like, that's one thing where I'm like, who are producing these matches? Like, who comes in and says, no, that's enough. You got what you want. That's the story. We're done.
We'll talk about that in the main event because there were so many times in the main event that could have been ended like 10 minutes ago, but yet you decided to kick out of 5 different tombstone pile drivers. But okay, we'll get into that.
I tweeted this out and I got some reaction from people. I think I'm going to form a new political super PAC that will campaign during WrestleMania week with you. I want to ask if you guys will join my political super PAC. Make pile drivers win matches again. All right, and it is a super PAC. We will file with the government. We will do everything we can.
I approve this message.
We will win a Sportskeeda Wrestling Award next year. We will win the office of pile drivers winning matches again. And if anyone's in the anti-pile drivers winning matches party,
that's just like any type of pile driver, right? Canadian Destroyer, Heat Seeker pile driver,
pile drivers on the apron. We got people doing pile drivers on the
driver,
the Gotch style pile driver.
There was a lot of them. People taking all types of bumps on the apron tonight. Did you know it's the hardest part of the ring? Did you know that? It is the hardest part of the ring.
I don't know that. No, I did not know that.
This was really, really cool. I absolutely love this match. The blood worked. Like, there was so much blood on this show. But this is the first time we got to see it. This is a great culmination of a feud. Mm-hmm. I don't need to see another Punk MJF match, at least for a while. For like a significant period of time. If Punk's going to be one of your biggest stars, this is how you tell a story with him. And I absolutely love this. And this is a story, people want to make the comparison. You can't. This is a great story. This is a great AEW story. And I loved it. It was perfect. Best match of the show. Best match of the show for sure. Let's jump into your thoughts on it. A lot of people agreeing with us on this one, saying it was an awesome match here. Let's move down the card here. As we move on to another match that had to follow this. They had a tough order here. This is AEW Women's Championship match. Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa. Of course, Britt Baker has her legion of hooligans ringside here.
It's getting annoying, man, because I know from a storytelling standpoint, I know she's the heel. I know we're supposed to hate her. I know she's supposed to be doing these heel things. But at the same time, it's like, okay, you're doing the same thing now, the same gimmick. You always win because you get help from these two women, and you can't put down Thunder Rosa on your own. So that's the story that she keeps telling over and over, and it's kind of getting stale, in my opinion. So when we were talking a little bit earlier, where St. Patrick's Slam might be the moment. I think you're right about that, Jeremy. Just because she needs to get her fair shot on it, or something needs to happen, because you can't continue this same stale gimmick. It's getting stale.
I've seen people. Yeah, I saw people online tonight talk about how they think Britt is getting stale, how they thought a title change should have happened. But I think a lot of people did not realize they're going to be in Thunder Rosa's home in less than 2 weeks. She does have to beat Layla Hirsch. That'll probably be a good match on Dynamite this Wednesday. But once she does, I wouldn't.
Why book this match on a pay-per-view?
I wouldn't be surprised if it's a cage match on Rampage.
Do a cage match. But I mean, also, like, I get it. More people are going to see it on television. They're going to see it on a pay-per-view, right? But if you want me to pay for the big payoff, like I just got with Punk and MJF, and then right after you do this match that's a fun match, I'm not saying that they didn't go out there and try stuff. It was good. It was really cool. The near falls worked. Thunder Rosa was over. Britt Baker was over as a heel. But it was another one of those matches where it's like, it was convoluted booking.
It was kind of
convoluted to get that many people. It was another match on the show. Was there a single match on this show where the two people, the competitors in the ring, didn't have to deal with anyone outside of the ring? Yeah. Like, was there any matches on the show at all where that didn't happen? That was something where this match was really affected by a redundant, indulgent concept of let's get as many people out there around the match. It was too much gaga,
because like at least with the main event they all cleared out and then you had a finish where you had Rhea and here you've got like your old
two
Impact
for one
here you've got your classic Impact Wrestling overbooking, TNA overbooking, and you had Hater and Rebel.
It was too many bodies out there. I don't think that you needed that finish. It just made, there's this gif of this guy that does this all the time when Brock Lesnar comes back, like that's how I felt, like the hell, man. I'm getting tired of this booking that they're doing with Britt. They need to change it up.
Yeah, I don't know why it look good. Yeah, I don't know why they decided to do this and then still have Thunder at number 2, which I mean it makes sense because she got kind of cheated. And you're clearly going to
kind of cheated.
Where was Martinez around here?
Kind of. She had to pick up 2 other people outside of the ring and then get in the ring and get stomped.
Where was she tonight?
I mean, isn't Mercedes Martinez supposed to have her back? I'm just saying she wasn't there.
So storyline, it was kind of convoluted. So it was just like, it was protecting Britt. Britt could have won this match without that much outside interference.
Absolutely, she could have.
And it was just a matter of like, swerve. Now we do the finish. It's one of those things where it's like, reel people in. Reel them in. You know what I mean? Reel this thing in. Indulgence is AEW's biggest noticeable weakness, where people get to indulge. All right, no, then we're going to get you, and then we're going to do this. Slow it down. You know what I mean? Wardlow came out. His interference mattered. And it added something to the match. It played up the characters.
Exactly.
Bring it home. You know what I mean?
I don't mind if there's interference, but it has to make sense.
Something
it made sense here, but it was just like convoluted. It was just like the ends didn't justify the means. Is that fair to say?
And the next match had no interference, and this was probably my favorite match of the night, which was Jon Moxley and Bryan Danielson.
That was a good match.
Man. Okay, now here's where the difference between a quiet crowd and an attentive crowd. This crowd in the beginning, watching these guys paint the picture in the beginning, it was like very reminiscent of when you watch a New Japan match and the crowd is very attentive and they're focused on the match. And
it was not a dead crowd.
They were focused on what they were doing. I thought it was kind of cool to see that. It reminded me a lot of the Japan matches that you have. But this was my match of the night, was Moxley and Danielson, and boy, they more blood.
Lots of blood. They beat the crap out of each other. I think this was, we have someone saying match of the year candidate for these two. For me, it was neck and neck between this and Punk. I go with Punk and MJF as match of the night because I think it just paid off a great storyline. That was was one of the best storylines they've done in months that we've seen in wrestling, and it paid off, and the match was as good. So
this is kicking off a great storyline.
Yeah, so this kicks off a great storyline.
Yeah.
A flash finish where Danielson is trying to kind of put him in the cattle mutilation finisher, where he basically has to do like a stand on his head with his feet backwards, kind of put your shoulders in an awkward position. Moxley took advantage of it and pinned him. Very technical.
I kind of like, this match was technical, so that's why I love
the way that was
finish.
shot, though. Did you guys notice this? Maybe this is my ADD kicking in. Jose, did you notice that pinfall right away? Because I was like as surprised. I was like, what? Like, what happened? I was like, did someone tell someone to ring the bell and they weren't supposed to? That was my reaction for 3 minutes. And then they're like, no, he got caught. I was like, okay.
Yeah, he got caught. And that's why when you have a technical match like this, it went like roughly 20 minutes. I thought it was a pretty good ending. And, and then, boy, that big surprise at the end, huh?
Yeah, this matchup was really good. When you compare this to the Punk and MJF match, two different matches, but nonetheless very, very good matches. You got one match that's very violent, very bloody. The other one's also very, very violent and very bloody, but very technical. And you can tell that John Moxley's been hitting the match, bro. Like he's doing some Gracie jiu-jitsu training. He's got that mat training. He's doing some more more striking. You can tell he's been hitting the gym. He's doing some MMA, doing some mixed martial arts training, because it's coming across now in his overall in-ring game, and it's very well matched against Bryan Danielson. Yeah. So,
and I
fantastic matchup tonight.
I think they should just simply call this faction with now Regal as managers, call it Violence. Be perfect. Just call it Violence.
Violence Inc.
And boy, I was already excited as hell for this partnership, and now you add Regal to it, and it just skyrockets my interest through the roof. And so I'm very looking forward to who they bring into the fold. Like there's going to be a younger guy they add to the fold probably, and I'm very curious to see who they do add to that fold.
William Regal joined All Elite Wrestling. That's wild, isn't it, guys?
We're living in a fantastic time when it comes to pro wrestling.
Triple H next.
Oh my God!
I don't know about that. Hey guys, give me a second.
Yeah, Kevin's cutting out.
I'm gonna reboot on my end. Stay with me, guys.
Yeah.
Well, while he reboots on his end, let's talk about this. This trios tornado matchup. Ooh. We had the AHFO. It was Isaiah Cassidy and Andrade El Idolo, Matt Hardy, going up against Sting, Darby Allin, and Sammy Guevara, which was a wild matchup because you got this 62-year-old man and Sting jumping from a balcony, Jeremy.
My God. A lot of people were like, why is this match on the pay-per-view? But then you watch it play out and you're like, whoa, this is so good. And they did my God, the Spanish fly off of that thing. I was waiting for Isaiah Cassidy to do his trademark high-pitched squeal when Sammy.
Yeah.
He should have done that when Sammy did the Spanish fly. That would have been great. And then, my God, a 62-year-old man diving off a balcony through tables. This guy's a legend. He bumped
his head pretty nasty there too when he was flying down. I think
he must have been okay. Or something. He must have been okay though, because he was actually the first guy. He led the media scrum tonight. So Sting was the first guy to show up for the media scrum. So I think he's okay. But man, that was for a match that people didn't think fit on the card. That was a great second to last match.
It was a fun matchup, and it wasn't too long.
Yeah, and it's the beginning of the end.
A lot of it.
Yeah, and it's the beginning of the end for Matt with the HFO. He's obviously his brother's probably coming in Wednesday. I wouldn't be surprised. I think he's free and clear. I'd have to double check, but I think he's free and clear by Dynamite possibly. So it'd be very interesting to see if his brother shows up or if they do kind of a slower build to bring Jeff in.
Yeah, I think this is the right time to do it. He's been on that losing streak now for several weeks, and I think this is the right time to kind of like send him off into the sunset and bring him back with his brother if that's the case this week. But this was a fun matchup. This was fun. The crowd got a lot of it. They went into the crowd. We got tables. We got, Sting flying from the balcony. I mean, what more can you ask for what? What was it, like a 10 or 12 minute match?
The 90th day is Wednesday, by the way, for Jeff.
So would he not be able to come out on that 90 day, or does he have to wait until the end of the 90 days?
I would assume at 12:01 he could maybe.
Probably 12:01 of that day, right?
Yeah.
Well, he's already got himself in legal trouble if he was negotiating with AEW like in not in good faith, because there's some debate about that. I know there was mixed reports about that. Is he going to get in trouble?
I think a lot of that was he saying that he's going to go there, but that's
not supposed to say that.
Yeah, but
he's
that's
clearly he went on Twitter and tried to like cover that up.
Yeah,
clearly not supposed to say it, because here's the thing: you may have a 90-day release, but you're getting paid through all of that. You're getting paid from WWE until the end of those 90 days. There's
a difference though between him saying that and them actually doing business. So
yeah,
the latter is a lot worse, and I don't think they officially. Tony knows better to not.
Yeah,
I think it's just
but Jeff. like that. I don't think.
Well, no, Tony knows better not to do business. So there's probably been no business done.
That doesn't mean they're not doing it.
WWE is probably doing something preemptively because of what Jeff Hardy's comments. So he let it slip out, and then he was like trying to rectify himself. He's like, "Oh no, I'm just trying to manifest it because I believe that I'm going to work there." So it's like. I don't know. It could
I'm
be
an
one
enigma,
of
man. I'm an enigma,
yeah, right?
and I don't want to be sued. like that's what it is.
Exactly. What about that spot where Darby Allin missed his coffin drop by like a mile?
He kind of hit it, but it wasn't.
It
wasn't a clean hit.
Jeremy.
Yeah, but it's the end of the match.
Did you watch the replay? Did you watch the replay?
Yeah, his head grazed him in the ribs. That's what it looked like.
He barely hit him on the bicep. It was like,
Matt wasn't ready for him to do it that quickly.
He was too far. He couldn't reach there. No.
It's funny. Yeah, Cassidy Haynes from Body Slam. He was like talking about give Matt some time or something. I responded with the 8 nobody got time for that gif. Darby ain't got time for that.
For me, it was. I thought it was. It was.
Lord Jesus.
Lord Jesus.
There's a fire.
This match had 2 things in it: the Spanish Fly through the tables, Sting going through a table, which looked nasty. How about that? 60-plus-year-old Sting going through a table.
I'm surprised he wasn't like profusely bleeding out of his forehead because he.
I hope he's okay.
And then that intro video was badass too.
Well, I tweeted
Sting with a flamethrower.
Yeah, the intro video where Darby comes out and he for some reason. He didn't do it, but it looked like it. He drove a trailer. He drove a car through the air, through trailers,
Grand Theft Auto style.
While they were doing a funeral outside of a trailer park for Matt Hardy.
Yeah.
All right, so they're doing some trailer for like something like that, right? And then Sting shows up with a flamethrower and burns the whole funeral set in this trailer park down. Weird place to have a funeral, and. I just wanted Sting to turn to the camera and say, "Welcome to Jackass." Like that's all I wanted
to say. That's the other company's gimmick.
Yeah, I do. I love Jackass. I saw the movie this week.
Hell yeah! Oh yeah. I watched the Batman today. So
I saw the Batman yesterday. Also worth it. This was a fun match, but clunky, real clunky. Not a great night for Matt Hardy to be in the ring and take that finish. And have it be that way.
Well, that's because he's about to get broken.
He's about to be broken again.
Wonderful, yeah.
Will people respond to that? Because they tried it once. They tried it once in AEW, but it was they didn't have fans
because it was pandemic.
There was no fans.
There's no fans.
That's and Matt has said as much in interviews. Yeah. It made no sense to have it then with no fans. So, but you had to bring him in as that. When he debuted in AEW, you had to bring him in like that because it was such a hot gimmick. But yeah, with no fans, makes no sense.
It's getting late. Let's get through this thing here, man. What do you guys think about the rest of the show? Jump on here.
Halo Cole, baby.
We got the Battle of the Atoms. Let's go, Adam. That
was a great chant.
Awesome. This Orlando crowd was awesome.
Yeah,
they're smart. It's a smart mark crowd. Orlando's a smart mark town. You know that. They had TNA there for the longest time, just being in one place for like a decade or something like that, and NXT as well. So this is a smart wrestling crowd. Surprised they ran. Considering the crowd, I know we're talking about the main event here. Surprised they ran. Is there a bigger arena than this in Orlando?
Well, this arena is by the university, so it's a smaller scale arena compared to the Amway. I think the Amway sits up to 20,000. I think this seat's right around 10.
Okay, so 20,000 might be pushing it. But you're like, all right, so let's go with the small arena that we know we can pack.
Exactly, exactly. So, but this was a fun main event. The crowd was awesome. Not only we got the "Let's Go Adam" chants, but "Let's Go Adam" sucks chants. Those were really fun too. But this was
damn good match.
And you saw that Adam Cole was like annoyed by that. He's like, it's like these MFers, like, I can't believe you guys are really saying that right now. But this was hilarious. Fun match, a lot of false finishes that could have been finished like 7 minutes before the actual finish of this actual match. But it is what it is. Adam Page got the win. It was okay. This was not the very best match I've seen Adam Cole in.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was actually a pretty good match. I thought it was probably the third best, maybe fourth best match on the card. Kind of hard when it's a stacked card like this.
Yeah.
I thought it was a really good title match, and they got 25 minutes. I think your title matches should be this long. I thought it was actually the perfect length. Of course, I'm a night owl anyway, so I'm not bothered by what time it was when it got over. I thought it was a well done match. I thought Adam Cole had some tremendous counters, some great counters. And him and Paige do really work well together. So I
thought pile drivers win matches.
No.
No. Exactly. I think
flipping pile drivers on the floor.
Only for Undertaker.
You hit him with the Deadeye. You hit him with the pile driver. You hit him with a tombstone pile driver. You hit him with another
pile drivers.
You hit him with the Panama Sunrise.
For the title.
You hit him with the Panama Sunrise in the outside on the ground.
It's for the title. You come through.
To put away one of these guys.
You pull through and it's for the title.
Apologist, Jeremy.
You pull through when it's for the title. My God, how many false finishes were there in the Attitude Era? There were people taking each other's finishers 10 times in the Attitude Era, and people think that's the greatest era in pro wrestling. So don't give me that shit.
I'll give you that shit. You asked for it.
The Attitude Era was much worse.
Taking a pile driver on the floor and not winning a match.
That happened in the Attitude Era. That happened in the Attitude Era on a day that ended in Y.
Exactly. But I'm saying, but in this case where you're getting back to reality and you had matches where real things matter, like Moxley and Danielson doing something real that mattered, where you did something real that mattered.
A video game.
I did groan when Fish and O'Reilly came out. I'm like, another overbooked. But they all cleared out for the finish.
But they were involved in the finish. And you still had another match where you had 14 people.
Well, no,
you had the whole Dark Order run out there and get involved too.
They weren't involved in the finish. They were all cleared.
They still ran out and were involved in the match. Let two guys.
Well, you said they were involved in the finish, and they weren't involved in the finish.
They were involved in the match. That's all I'm saying. It's just a bunch of gaga. It's a bunch of noise. Let's bring the noise down here and let two people do the match. That's all I'm saying.
Well, hell, they had that whole episode of Rampage where there were no seconds allowed or no managers allowed or anybody.
What a gimmick that would be. I didn't know I was at a college campus where we have everyone's. This is a college campus.
Ringside? What?
This is all elite U. This is a college campus where everyone's frat fights another frat. That's what this has become now. But here's the thing: these two guys went out and had a great match. I thought it was really good. Mm-hmm. I do think finishers should win matches at some point, but there was like creative kickouts. There's creative ways to get out of it. They didn't lay themselves up with it. I know I was just yelling at you. I'm being goofy with the apologist thing, Jeremy. You know what I'm doing. Loved it. But I thought they put themselves in a tough position because there was so much other stuff in the show that exceeded what this match was going to be able to do.
CM Punk told Sean Ross Sapp that he's relieved that Tony Khan owns Ring of Honor. Vince owns enough of his footage that he's not getting paid for. I like that line from Punk.
Makes sense. Of course, that's the post-media scrambles that we'll see all the different stuff.
Him and Tony are out there right now. Boy, Punk looks like he's been through a fight.
I don't doubt it. Of course, we also have the Deadeye through the table. I thought that was pretty cool. Fun match. Not Hangman's best match. Not Adam Cole's best match. But a hell of a pay-per-view overall.
It was a fun show. A little long, but it was a fun show.
I won't say this is the best AEW pay-per-view ever. So, some people are trying to say that every time after a pay-per-view. I think they've had better shows. I thought All Out was.
What do you mean, Karen?
This
is the best AEW show I've ever seen in my life since its inception.
Come on. Yeah, come on. Well, this is a very, very good show. Had some weaker points, had some strong points. Love this show. Let's go into our ratings. 1 out of 10. I'm giving this show a solid 8. Giving it a solid 8 out of 10. And that's scaled on AEW in comparison to other things they've done. An 8 out of 10. Strong show. It's a soft 8. If we didn't get Moxley and Danielson and MJF on the show, maybe it'd be less. But this is a really, really strong show.
I'm going to give it a 7. The reason I'm giving it a 7, just because, one, it was too long of a show, in my opinion. I don't think the show needs to be 4.5 hours or 5 hours long.
You live in that 3-hour sweet spot we've been getting recently.
I think 3.5 is like a nice sweet spot.
Mm-hmm.
4.5, it's getting too long. There were several spots in some of these matches that were just botched, like that Darby Allin and some other spots in the matchup. The main event, a lot of those false finishes just kind of killed it for me, which has kind of got me out of the matchup. The match was fun. It was all right, but it was just, there's moves that should finish matches, right? So this is just one of my things to nitpick about that. But overall, it was a fun pay-per-view. Love seeing Keith Lee back on the card in the ladder match. That was great.
He just gave you the tweezers.
I'm gonna give it a 7.
I'm giving it the tweezers. He just gave you the tweezers. We'll put the tweezers down, Jeremy. I think you like the show a lot.
I'm giving it a 9 because I'm not an old man that wants to go to bed right now. I did not feel like it was too. I didn't feel like it was too long at all. I mean, it's less. It was. I
didn't have an issue with it being that long.
It was like it was 3 hour.
I didn't notice that.
It was 3 hours and 50 minutes. So it was 50 minutes more than a normal Raw. So I don't think it was long at all. I thought there wasn't really a terrible match. There were, I think the two women's matches. I thought the TBS championship probably more of a TV match. It wasn't really a pay-per-view feel match. I thought Thunder and Britt have done better, and I think they're saving it for St. Patrick's Day Slam. I think they're saving it for the title change. I think that match is going to be a little better. But outside of that, I had no complaints with any of the other matches on the card at all. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to give it a 9.
Other people chiming in here about the timing thing. We have someone saying, Jose, the longer the better. I don't like wasting monies. We also have people giving us a 7.5 out of 10. Some people giving it a 10. Steven saying, I like long pay-per-views worth $50. So, you're spending for your time though too.
And so that's to each his own. That's just my personal preference. I just, when watching a wrestling show, I don't need a show for it to be.
I didn't notice that until the end of the show. I didn't notice that until the end of the show when people brought it up. Mind you, I'm in the central time zone, so maybe I'm not dealing with the same thing that people in the East are too.
And I'm always up this late, so it doesn't matter to me. Hell, I'm doing a voiceover after this. So
hell of a show. Definitely seek out if you're just gonna watch the show in bits and chunks. Seek out Punk versus MJF. Seek out Mox versus Danielson. And
seek out a blood transfusion too.
Seek out how about the ring crew? They had to change the canvas a couple.
How about old Bryce Rimsberg? He kept on the same bloody shirt that he had from the Danielson and Moxley match because he reffed the main event. He still had the same bloody shirt on.
There's a great comment here from John Paul Start. He says, I give Sportskeeda a 10 for a card review.
Yeah.
Oh, gee golly. Oh, stop. We're blushing underneath our beards over here. Stop it. No, go on. Stop.
Yeah, keep kissing our ass. We'll take it.
Sorry. We were before the show. We said we were going to do 30 minutes and we went an hour. And sorry about all that.
Let's get out of here.
We'll be back tomorrow. We have the top story. You guys can catch us on that Monday through Friday, right around 5:30 Central, 6:30 Eastern. Sometimes we go a little bit earlier if there's some more breaking news. Another thing is with big breaking news, and we expect some big breaking news in the next week or so, especially leading up to WrestleMania. Just make sure your notifications are on so you can catch those breaking news streams. Plus, every Monday night after Monday Night Raw, we have Vince Russo covering Monday Night Raw. After Wednesday's action and Tuesday's action, Jose over there covers The Debrief with Dynamite and NXT. Tuesdays, we have Unfiltered, a special interview every week with the special wrestling star. Thursday nights, we also have DDP and Vince Russo together doing the Bro Show. That's on our Instagram. We do drop that on our YouTube at some point, like Friday morning as well. And then Friday nights after SmackDown and Rampage, we have Dutch Mantel on Smack Talk. So hours and hours of content, plus all of the interviews we've done for the Sportskeeda Wrestling Awards. If you guys have not done it yet, get your votes in. Only a few more days left. You can win a brand new Xbox X Series console from us. Follow the directions. You have to follow all of the directions, and you have to vote. We will know if you didn't vote, by the way.
100,000 votes, huh?
Yes.
Congratulations to the team. This has been an absolutely fun thing to be a part of. 100,000 fans impacted. I've heard numbers. I've heard Google numbers of 250,000 people being impacted in terms of reach on this. It's incredible. A lot going on here. WrestleMania is a few weeks away. Jose and I will be there. Get on the road with us. If this is the first time you're trying out our show after a pay-per-view, get on the road to WrestleMania with us. I know you have a lot of choices for all the secondary wrestling media, and if you choose us, we thank you. We appreciate it. Give us a follow on social media. You can follow him at Jose_G_official. You can follow him down there, Jeremy Bennett, at JB Huskers. You can follow me at Kellam on the Twitter machine. I'll be on the road with a bunch of different comedy shows in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and across Chicago. You can check out all my dates on my website, kevinkellam.com. All right, thank you guys so much. Remember, when watching wrestling, do the most important thing. Clear your mind. Do not compare promotion to promotion. Do not get mad about pile drivers not winning matches. No, go vote in the Sportskeeda Wrestling Awards. And please do what, gentlemen?
You must enjoy it. Enjoy wrestling.
Yeah. Let me tell you.
Watch out.